My laptop broke. Straight up broke. This is the lid. The art was really cool, so I took the lid of the laptop and I'm gonna hang that up in my new apartment because I am moving. Because my roommate saw the video that I uploaded most recently and predictably didn't go great. So here's what we're going to do. I cannot edit this video. I have a work laptop, but because of very specific software restrictions, I can't get Premiere on there. As such, because I'm so talented and so charming and effortlessly well spoken, we're just going to do one take. We're just going to get through this. I'm going to discuss what I want to discuss. No cuts, no mic, because my audio editing is also on the laptop that is, once again, shattered to oblivion. Not, I mean, you know what I mean, but like, hey, check out the stickers. So we're going to make it do. And you guys are going to be really impressed by the outcome. You'll be like, oh my god, this is Quinn's best work. This is the director of Birdman. So anyway, I have been non-binary my entire life, naturalmente. And obviously I didn't have the terminology for that growing up, but even as I was in middle school and high school, I had an understanding that the traditional values of masculinity did not make sense to me. I think in middle school, I was concerned about perceptions of what my sexuality was. I distinctly recall an incident I had with my group of friends where at lunch I was like, guys, is it gay if I stand like this? And then I did the little, you know? And and they all looked at me weird and were like, Quinn, no, what are you talking about? And I remember being like, phew, crisis averted. Because I was experiencing gay thoughts. My mind filled with queer ramblings. And as such, I was like, oh my god, any little thing I can do will only solidify and make official what is intangible right now. It will ossify the feelings I've been having about, boys when I was also a boy. So, fuck. One take, one take. So, uh, as the years went on, I realized obviously I was bisexual, and I was very like grounded and okay with that. It helped to like attend a school that was a like military post school, not a military school, but a school on a military post. And as such, because students are always coming in and out, military kids typically tend to understand. You can't. It's hard to bully anyone. You kind of have to accept everyone because like you only have so much time to make a good impression. I might only be here for a year and before I move, so it's like no one has time. We're all treating each other with respect. So coming out was pretty easy. And I didn't realize I was non-binary until like my adult years. But I recall even in high school, I had thoughts of, first of all, being bothered by the prospect of being addressed as a man. And at the time, I just thought that was a issue of nomenclature, an issue of terminology. That it's like, oh, well, like, I'm not 18 yet, so, like, I can't be called a man. I'm a boy. So that's why I'm bothered by the sweeping generalization of a phrase. But I remember things that bothered the other boys and male associated individuals in my life that I conversed with or overheard regularly, such as infertility or the inability to like maintain during intercourse, didn't bother me because I was like, well, I'm still who I am if those things don't work. Like if traditional aspects of masculinity are diminished for me, that's fine because I'm not attached to that. And obviously, I realize now that that's because I'm non-binary and those things were less important to me. But now, as a non-binary, openly and fully aware non-binary person, who is also in the process of being on feminizing hormones, but also realizing the beauty of masculinity, not just femininity, but masculinity. I've been thinking about all of the interactions I've personally had with masculinity and been realizing, like, oh, being non-binary made me comfortable in my masculinity because I wasn't afraid or anxious or worried when aspects of that were lost. And now that I can kind of attend the buffet of gender presentation, I can have as much or as little masculinity as I so desire and as I present. And partially, there are two things that were kind of helping with this. One, for me, masculinity in women and femme presenting individuals kind of healed my perception of like what masculinity could be. Because I think we as society, specifically like Americans, that's the way that I was socialized, are very hyper focused on sex. I was talking to a friend about this. I don't think any of us like sex as much as we claim to like sex. It took me a long time to realize that about myself. It took me a long time to realize, oh, the main reason I have sex is for the affirmation, both from this person that like, oh, I was attractive enough that you wanted to engage in this activity with me, and also the broader social environment I found myself in the interaction of, oh, like Quinn, I saw you got home with that beautiful person the other night. Like, I approve of you now. You know, I think sex is so attached and so public now that it feeds directly into our social status and you know, like we shame virgins. You know, we hype up people with high body counts and then we virgin shame. And like obviously there is a counterculture of like religious zealots who are like sex is a sin, only marriage. But I think like they are both different aspects of control. On one hand, you have people who use like abstinence and uh, save sex for marriage as a way to kind of very subtly force young people into long-term relationships uh, at a time when they don't have the capacity to understand what they're getting themselves into and they feel stuck, you know. And on the other, I think like the obsession with body counts and men having higher ones and women having lower ones uh, contributes to rape culture. And in addition, like the celebration of feminine sexuality has happened at a rate that I don't think we as a patriarchal society were quite ready for. Um, I believe it's Susan Sontag who said something along the lines of the sexual revolution, if it's the same sex that objectified women, that women are now free to explore and free to have, what benefit have women actually gained, if not just the ability to do to others what's been done to them without stopping what's being done to them, right? All this to say that because of this obsession with sex, I felt like everything I did in presentation involved my sexuality. And I thought that all the aspects of femininity that I was engaging in were related to my bisexuality as opposed to like something regarding my gender identity. And I kind of thought this for other people as well, that like we are all playing roles because of our sexuality, like masked individuals, specifically like masked women and masked girls uh, are doing so because they are gay, not because of like a gender presentation. And it took a while for me to realize that these aspects are completely untethered from um, sexuality. And you still see some people like struggling with this, like men online who are like, oh, like masculine woman, no man's going to want you, as if that's like they're giving advice as if that is something that's tied to bedroom activity. Um, but what I eventually realized is like being able to look at people express this thing, and it has nothing to do with an activity that I feel pressured to have and am not having, felt cool because now I'm like, okay, I can express masculinity, and it truly is not necessarily celebrating men or even celebrating like patriarchy. It's a manner of behavior, and it took a long time, for relatively long time in my transition, for me to go from like, oh, I want to like look feminine, and look feminine also means presenting feminine, to oh, I want to look feminine but be masculine. And I struggle with that. I think being non-binary helped because I'm not like a full-on trans woman. But there was a bit of a struggle for me initially of, am I actually trans? Because I don't want to like have feminine posture, because I don't want to have a feminine voice, because I don't want to have more feminine mannerisms. Like I still like man spread and do the like I take up space and I stand masculine and I speak masculine. And for a while I was really self-conscious about that, but now I'm realizing like no, like I'm secure that I look feminine, that I don't need to have masculinity in that fashion. But I can embrace the masculinity that does make me feel comfortable and does make me feel good. And I'm recognizing that because I'm choosing to do what I want, that I'm not performing the masculinity that I do exhibit. It is just natural to me and feels good to me. Uh, Moving on to like something else that I've been thinking about, and might make a full video on later, I've been really pondering the existence and kind of plight of, and I use this term in a way that I don't like using this term, but you'll get it. AMAB, non-binary people who still present masculine, um, because non-binary people don't owe anyone androgyny. Obviously, I think there's a belief that like a non-binary person looks a certain way, androgynous. I think I'm like pretty not visibly non-binary, but obviously non-binary people can choose to present as feminine or as masculine as they so choose. They are non-binary because first of all they've decided to be, and also the role and the performance of gender of man or woman is not something that appeals to them. But their appearance, if they feel comfortable with it, doesn't need to be changed to match that. I've been thinking about my relationship with men separately. Uh, Not to be like I read Bell Hooks, but I read Bell Hooks' book, uh, The Will to Change, because it initially caught me off guard because I'm a man hater to my core, and then the first few pages kind of called me out and are like, if we keep treating men at a distance and keep treating them all as threats, then nothing will actually change about the way that they act. And I was like, yeah, but like I've been hurt by so many men. Um, but I do realize like end goal, I want men to be better. I don't want to have to hate men. I don't want to look at a man and have my initial reaction be one of fear or anxiety. I want to live in a world where like men are healthy, boys are healthy, and we can feel safe around them. There is that balance of like the division has grown so much that giving men any leeway can be dangerous, and whose job is it to like to fix men? It doesn't have to be anyone's responsibility. If you don't want it to be yours, don't make it yours. But I'm trying to be, this is an active project, I'm trying to be better about treating men just kind of neutrally. Uh, Conversely, I'm also trying to get better at treating women neutrally as well. Because, like, I've cut off a friendship recently with a woman who espoused patriarchal ideals. and kind of like harmed my way of thinking about women, because like these ideals were still like seeping themselves into my mind, and I had the like feminist misconception that to be feminist is to like listen to all women and like respect all women's opinions no matter what because they're women, and they probably know more than I do. Obviously, it turns out that like women can suck too. That's what feminism is. Women can suck, uh, but not because they're women. Just like they're people, and sometimes people suck. And um, I realized like, oh, like I need to separate myself from this person because her ideals are like kind of harming me. And once I did, I realized like, oh, I haven't been treating women as well as I would like to have been, or I haven't been viewing women as like respectfully as I would have liked to have been because of my need to prove like sexual machismo, sexual like competency, sexual desire on my part to this person in my life as a manner of approval, of like being respected or liked or like not made fun of. And like as these two things happen, as I'm trying to view men neutrally and as I'm trying to view women neutrally, I've kind of come to the conclusion of like, what if I just treat everyone as if they're non-binary until I'm proven otherwise? And this also stems from like the debate over women and non-binary spaces. The concept that like these places that are trying to be inclusive just kind of turn out to be exclusive and exclusionary towards like trans men, mass presenting non-binary individuals, trans women who don't pass yet. Um, yeah, and I've also like been getting recommended a couple more non-binary mask presenting creators on my algorithms, and one of my friends is also not dating, but like in a serious, more than friendship, with a uh, non-binary person who recently realized that they're non-binary, but like still presents mask, and I'm trying to get better at like the preconceived notions I have about like everyone, and I kind of was thinking like it would suck to meet someone who I viewed as a man. It turns out they're non-binary, and then I misgendered them. And it also sucks to like have these weird spaces that are exclusionary towards like trans men, and also like I don't want my man hating to affect trans men. And obviously, like, there came a source of friction in my head where I'm like, well, now I feel like I'm othering trans men and making it such that, like, just because they're trans, I'm trying to, like, treat them differently than, like, men. And then I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't. Like, I should be treating trans men like men. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And I was like, do I treat trans men like shit? Because I treat cis men like shit? Or like I'm distrustful? And then I'm like, no, I need to just as- assume everyone is cool. Is kind of what the conclusion was that I reached, was like, in order to be a better ally, I kind of have to assume everyone's gay upon meeting them. That everyone's got a little bit of fruity going on, because presentation is not doesn't equate to identity. And obviously that wasn't the best explanation. I definitely messed up the phrasing a few times. Once again, if I had editing software, I would just take a moment and like redo it. But here we are. Look at all those stickers. Um, but I'm very much a like pessimist, everyone sucks, nihilist type of person. I'll hold the door open for someone, and then in my head be like, but what if this person's a racist? What if the person I just held the door open for was a misogynist and they kick puppies? But then it's like that thinking is harmful Because sure, maybe they are, but like, do I just stop holding the door open for people? No. Obviously, there's a balance. Obviously, like I don't want to become so empathetic and understand, and like pre-understanding of people that it ends up hurting me. Obviously, if someone starts to exhibit signs of behavior, I should start to, be wary. But I'm trying to get better at being like, you know what, that man who hasn't done anything to me yet, even that phrasing, but that man who hasn't hurt me in any fashion could be non-binary, could be a cool bisexual, could be Zoran Mondami, you know? Zoran Mondami's cool. He's a man. And and I'm in a strange, not strange, I'm just in a time of my life where I'm trying to heal the way that I like look at people and assume things about them. And I'm feeling more comfortable about like gender things about myself. And it kind of just helps to like treat people like people. What? Who said that? That's crazy. But like, I think for certain people, misogynists, it's the thing of like, hey, treat women like human beings. But that sentence only makes sense if you already treat women like human beings. For a misogynist, treating you don't treat a man like you treat a human being. You treat a man like a man, and you treat a woman like a woman. Like, but as someone who is non-binary and has like a better concept of neutrality, I think I have a better ability to grasp the concept of like human being as a neutral term and being able to apply that appellation to just people. Obviously, we're discussing gender, but like this could go to like people who are disabled, people of different ethnic backgrounds, to people of different religious backgrounds. Um, all this to say is that I'm trying to get better at not having assumptions about people. Is that what this video is? I wish I had a script, but once again, oh. What a nice laptop this used to be. Anyway, I think I made my point kind of clear. I'll make it clearer in a future video, because I do think I'm not necessarily done with this topic quite yet. Obviously, this is not the best way this topic could have been discussed. But if you want to get a better insight into what I've been up to, because I have been gone for what has it been, like 2 or 3 weeks since I've uploaded. I've been doing more life update stuff on the Patreon, so check out the Patreon. Speaking of the Patreon, I wish I was like, oh yeah, thank you to my Patreon members, but I can't show them because I can't edit anything in this thing. Could I? I don't think there's anything in YouTube that would help me. And like I could say a few names, but I don't remember everyone. Oh my god, Quinn has so many Patreon supporters, they can't remember everyone. But I can't remember everyone, and I would feel bad if I like say everyone except one person. So yeah, look at the Patreon, look at me, follow my Instagram, give a tomato to a salamander, and thank you. Bye.